Hello, this is Dr. Marty Klein with another video quickie. Recently the New York Times featured an article about how most doctors don't talk to patients about the clitoris, primarily because they get virtually no training about its existence or function. Well, this makes doctors as clit-ignorant as civilians, who get no training about it in school either. In most sex ed classes, the clit doesn't exist. In many states, in fact, a teacher can lose their job for just mentioning it. While the Times article does mention how the clitoris is central to most women's sexual pleasure, it doesn't point out that the clit is the only organ in the human body whose function is pleasure. From my very first days as a sex educator in the 1980s, I always thought this was a cool fact. Forget penis envy, I would joke. What about clit envy? Well, the article does focus on urologist Dr. Rachel Rubin, a self-proclaimed clitorologist and one of my professional heroes. As a sexual health specialist in Maryland, she trains her patients, students, and colleagues with equal passion. She's doing a great job normalizing the clitoris as a body part worthy of attention, both by medical practitioners and clit owners themselves. Because doctors aren't the only ones who don't talk about the clitoris. Way too many women don't mention it to their partners. And to be fair, not all of those partners are listening. We've known that most women don't climax without direct clitoral stimulation since at least Cher Height's groundbreaking work in the 1970s. Researchers since then have repeatedly confirmed this, including Dr. Sandy Karen's studies of college women and Dr. Debbie Herbenick's studies of the general public. So how many ordinary women are talking about their clit with their partners? Not nearly enough, I'm afraid. As a clinician, I know that many heterosexual men and women define normal sex as penis and vagina intercourse. So when women don't climax from intercourse, many people are disappointed, blaming themselves or each other. But most women masturbate, and most do it by stimulating their clit with their hand, a toy, pillow, running water, not their vagina. So why isn't that a clue as to how the female body usually works? Cultural norms be damned. Vibrators and other sex toys that delight the clit, why the taboo, the shame, the sense of failure that so many users and couples feel about sex toys? That's like assigning moral judgment to light bulbs, hammers, and calculators. What? You want to pound a nail into the wall and don't want to use just your hand? Guess you're not a real woman. Can't see in the dark? Never learned your multiply by 23 table? You should be embarrassed to rely on gadgets to make full use of your eyes and hands. As seems inevitable in articles about women's health, women's self-consciousness, women's body image, and women's everything else, the article talks about how females have it rougher than males. There's a tut-tut comparison about how doctors don't focus much on female sexual health and quality of life, while Viagra has brought tens of billions of dollars to Pfizer. So, memo to medical writers everywhere. Viagra's existence is not proof that the drug industry is prejudiced toward men. Its widespread prescription is not proof that doctors deeply care about men's sexual pleasure. And the number of men prescribed Viagra who don't use it is testimony to the ways in which it doesn't address what men and women need. So, do physicians take female sexual satisfaction less seriously than male sexual satisfaction? Ask any guy you know if his urologist has asked him about sexual pleasure even once. Generally not. A half century ago, Dr. Lonnie Barbach coined the expression pre-orgasmic, a big improvement over non-orgasmic or dysfunctional or frigid. She was the first to develop a group treatment program for women distressed by their inability to climax regularly. As she put it, the predominant way that Americans have sex is men rubbing their penises inside women's vaginas, and most men climax while many women are pre-orgasmic. However, she continued, if the predominant way that people had sex was men rubbing their testicles on women's clitorises, women would climax easily, and men would be pre-orgasmic. So, as Dr. Ian Kerner, Dr. Laurie Mintz, and a whole generation of sex therapists would say, Let's all get more clitorate and not just wait around until doctors take the clit more seriously. Well, I publish one of these video quickies every 2 or 3 weeks, so if you like this one, click the red subscribe button at the bottom of your screen and you'll be notified when I drop a new one. I'm Dr. Marty Klein. Thanks for joining me.